polls are being counted. Good evening and welcome to the live coverage of Election 9 Day. I'm Christy Desort. Tonight we'll be bringing you team coverage of election results as happen. We'll be coverage of election results live from the Clarion County Courthouse, and Dan Wells will be giving a report from the Clarion Free Library. Joining me in the studio is Tracy Campbell, who will be bringing you news updates, and Danielle Boss will be interviewing two from the Political Science Department of the Clarion University concerning issues of this year's election. We'll be with you keeping you updated on as counted. The Associated Press reports Republican Tom Richardson won a second term as governor based on voters of the precincts. In the race for senator, the Associated Press reports that Arlen Specter will serve a fourth term. These results are based on a poll conducted by voters, news services, for the Associated Press, and 5 television outlets. The poll also showed that about 40% of the voters were 65 or older. Democrats and Republicans each accounted for about 40% of votes, with about 18% of voters reporting they are independents or members of other parties. More than half of the voters approved of the way President Clinton is doing his job, with the 40% saying they were unhappy with Clinton's work. The survey conducted about 599 voters and they randomly elected statewide at voting service. And now we'll take a look at our latest election coverage. In the 35% of the precincts right now, Tom is 58%, Idaho is 31%, Pelitsic is 10%, and Ken Krawchuk, the Libertarian, is 1%. And also, just in, George Pataki has been elected as governor of New York. And right now, we're going to take a look. We're going to go live to the Clarion Free Library with Dan Wells, who begins our TV5 coverage. Dan?
Have 20% of the vote coming in Clarion County. This is the official general election ballot. The Republican ticket seems to be the key, as Arlen Specter, running for U.S. Senator, has gathered 2,724 votes, followed by Democrat Lloyd, 1,009 votes, and constitutional candidate Schneider coming in with 235 votes. And the final, but last but not least, the Libertarian Party is followed by Itahu with 75 votes. As we move on to governor and lieutenant governor, Ridge and Schweiker have 2,054 votes. This is all state this is 20% of the vote in Clarion County alone. Kin and Medzinski, the Democratic ticket for governor, have pulled in 1,881 votes, and Littig and Clymer have 908 votes. Also, Krawchuk and Haller have 50 votes. Let me just see what we have here. The representative in Congress for the 5th District is Peterson with 3,164 votes. And on the constitutional, Blitzen 559 votes. Also, what we're having right now, the representative in the General Assembly for the 63rd is McElhatton with 589 votes, and Etzel coming with 518. As of right now, like I said, this is 20% of the vote for Clarion County alone, and we're going to be bringing continuing coverage with all the numbers coming in here to us at the Clarion Free Library. And back to you, Christy, in the studio.
Thanks, Dan, for that update. Just a reminder that next year's primary will be held on May 18th, and the election will be on November 2nd. Positions up for election county-wide in 1999 are county commissioners, district judge, attorney, common pleas judge, county auditors, register recorder, and treasurer. Municipalities will be voting on township supervisors, borough council, township auditors, and various township and borough, along with constables. School directors are also up for election in 1999. And also, 3 wholly contestant congressional races in Pennsylvania could have determined control of the U.S. House. They involve Pat Casey, the son of former Governor Roy Casey, in northeast Pennsylvania, Republican incumbent John Fox in Montgomery County, and Democratic State Senator Roy Afflerbach and Republican Pat Toomey, who are fighting for the seat held by the retiring Democrat Paul McHale. And also, voters are deciding whether to approve amendments to the state constitution that would give criminal prosecutors more power. More controversial proposals would allow prosecutors to override a defendant's request for a non-jury trial. The other proposals would give judges more authority to deny bail for defendants who are accused of murder or considered a danger to society. And also, we're taking a look throughout all the Clarion area, and we just wanted to ask you, did you know over 250 officers were up for election throughout the state today? Those officers included the United States Senator, State Governor, Lieutenant Governor, 21 United States Congress seats, 25 senators in the General Assembly, 203 representatives in the General Assembly, and members of the State Committee, as required by the qualified parties in Pennsylvania. And when we're taking a look at everything that's going on around the area, there's Republican Senator Arlen Specter, as we told you before, has 62% of the vote. Bill Lloyd, the Democratic Party, has 4% of the vote, and Dean Snyder is 3% of the vote, and again, Jeff Iantuno is 2% of the vote, and that's according to 31% of things at this moment. And right now, we're going to take a look at, we told you earlier, Republican Specter is ahead right now in the vote, and this could make a history by becoming the first Pennsylvania elected voter for 4 state terms as senator. Specter has faced little challenge. The biggest is State Representative Bill Lloyd. He's been giving him the most problems right now. The Democrat Somerset. All run against him were Constitutional Party candidate Dean Snyder of York County and Libertarian Party candidate Iantuno. And also take a look at from the 5% of the precincts race now, it's Johnny Peterson, the Republican, is 90% of the vote. William M. Botuskus is 10% of the vote. And right now, we're going to be looking at other things that are taking a look at things going next. The state senate, half of 50 seats out for the, but Republicans are expected to have no problem, and it's maintaining their 30 to 20 margin of control. The GOP's margin is narrower in the state house, by the Republican Party hopes to hold on to prove its 5-member majority. The Democrats hope to win control of the House after being out of power in the General Assembly for 4 years. And we'll be here with other stories you can see coming up. Our TV5 election coverage continues right after this.
Here, tell me with the things that young at the Donut Hut. Our menu not only offers a variety of donuts, but many new items such as bagels and English muffins. The Donut Hut also offers a daily lunch special for only $1.95. Stop by on Monday and get small coffee and 2 donuts, 99 cents. Thursday for 10% discounts to students. That's the Donut Hut, located on Main Street in Clarion. Open Monday through Saturday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sundays from 5 to 6 p.m. Tell them that you saw this commercial on TV5 and receive free donut. A place with donuts and a whole lot more.
Sticking out from the crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion, located at Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe department, you're surely going to find that special item to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bucket, located in the Clarion Mall, just off exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 9 p.m.
The hottest idea in pizza delivery has just arrived. Introducing the Domino's Heat Wave. Your pizza will stay fresh even longer. Stop by or call Domino's today and answer to the new large taco pizza, $6.99. Plus, for only $8.99, you get large and unlimited topping pizza. And get your medium one-top pizza 10 for just $10.99. Call pizza today at 226-4060.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Campbell, live TV5 News Update here on Election Day, bringing you local, state, and national news. Turning away from the election, in Indiana County, fair condition tonight after falling out of a tree stand, breaking his leg, and crawling for 2 hours until he found help. That's one story news in the area. 54-year-old Gary Lurch was behind near Rochester Mills when the chain holding his tree stand broke about 10 feet. He wore a t-shirt and broke off sideways, made a splint for his leg. 2 men from Sunbury are in prison with drug charges after they were pulled over at a routine traffic stop. Herbert Tybo and Charles Pittman were stopped on Interstate 80 in Luzerne County. When police searched the vehicle, they found 56 grams of cocaine and 20 grams of crack cocaine. Troopers say the drugs were in Sunbury from Newark, New Jersey. Both men are in Luzerne County prison on $75,000 bail. When it comes to getting mammograms, many women would rather be shopping. Women will soon be able to do just that. A new mammography center will be opening with the Lattice department store in downtown Pittsburgh on Friday. Allegheny Memorial Hospital runs the facility. It's the first of its kind in a Pennsylvania store. The center will be open for appointments or drop-ins whenever the store is open. Lazarus has similar centers at stores in Atlanta, Cincinnati, and Columbus, Ohio. The American Cancer Center recommends that women get a baseline mammogram at age 40 and have one each year after that to help diagnose breast cancer. The 150-year-old Pittsburgh nursing home can once again accept new residents after fixing problems highlighted by state and federal officials. An administrator at the Leamington Center says the home is in full compliance with state health department guidelines. In September, the 108-bed home found that it was unsafe and unsanitary condition. Authorities banned the home from accepting new admissions. Nursing home executive director says the facility has been cleaned and painted and its programs have been approved. Authorities will continue monitoring the Leamington Center because of the history of problems. Coke is hoping to make a splash in the bottled water business. The Wall Street Journal said Coca-Cola plans to sell purified water in plastic bottles next year. The paper cites industry executives who say Coke officials are eager to plunge into $4 billion water market. Coke already says bottled water sells bottled water overseas. Pepsi Company entered the water business in 1994 with Aquafina. Leader of the water business is Perrier, influenced with Airhead and other brands. Imagine, well, let's get over to Danielle right now. She's going to be talking to Dr. Tu. Danielle?
Thank you. As you already mentioned, I'm here with Dr. Tu from Political Science Department at Clarion University. Thank you, Dr. Tu, for joining me.
Thank you.
Our question for you is, obviously tonight there's a low voter turnout. Can you tell us what that is attributed to?
Normally in a midterm election, such as the one with two presidential elections, people don't seem to have a great deal of interest. This has been proven by statistics. It's always so. And particularly this year, probably people are sick and tired of other things such as scandals, the political behavior, both political parties, and so sometimes that can turn them off. But basically, mid-year election does not attract a lot of voters.
Right. Is it because it's not a very hyped-up election, or is it just because the weather? What attributes to this?
For example, even today in Pennsylvania, you might have beautiful weather, but people like them out a lot because normally presidential election would bring out a lot of people for the offices. People don't seem to be that interested. It has been proven.
All right. Who will turnout help most?
Well, I think I saw one set of statistics. If 41% of the voters come out, the Democrats can have an edge. If 39% of the voters come out, the Republicans have an edge. So anything over 39, probably the Republicans will have.
What effect do you feel the Clinton scandal had on the elections?
So far, I don't think a great deal. I saw the public opinion surveys, particularly exit poll that came out tonight. 6% of the voters that they were concerned about issue of Mr. Whiskey.
Right.
And so basically they couldn't care less about that scandal.
Do you think this reflect in the presidential election at all?
I think by the year of 2000, when we go into that big cycle, a lot of voters come out.
Yeah.
And probably the issue will be significant because right now several Republicans have declared themselves, I am not cheated on my wife. So the issue will be raised in a strange way.
Yes. Do you think that the mayoral vote took over a little bit more in this election?
Again, if we can follow exit poll surveys, they worry about this moral issue as much as about education, meaning 20% of the voters are concerned about that.
There's a negative advertising rise with campaigns. What's your take on this?
I think we all should be law, but the strange thing is that it does work. If you look at New York, 79% of the content of both Republicans and Democratic senatorial candidates have this kind of, and yet it seems to work because they test it through the focus group, which brings out the raw emotions of people, and it might be working that way.
Right. I want to stay on this issue when we come back. When we come back, have more live coverage with Dr. Tu.
At the Carpet Barn in Clarion, all we do is cover floors, but we do cover all types of floors. We do business floors, church floors, healthcare, and of course, home floors. So if you have a floor that needs a touch of style and elegance, come to Carpet Barn, South 5th Avenue in Clarion. We have your best interest underfoot.
We Care Hair, located at the 800 Center, has got a new look. With their new owner, Alice Miller, We Care Hair has all your needs. Nails, haircuts, color, and tanning. All these prices and 7 days a week. We Care Hair now offers a technician Monday through Sunday. Log and call for an appointment at 226-7977. We Care Hair, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 9 p.m., Saturdays 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., and Sundays from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m.
Thanks for joining us tonight here at TV5. Dr. Tu, we were talking about negative advertising. What effect does negative advertising have on the voters?
So far, if you look at California, many people resent it, but as I mentioned earlier, it seems to work. This is something that psychologists somebody might have to find out because it used to the works in voter, but it seems to work. The more this kind of negative campaigns come out, the more the person who doesn't win seems to be that way.
Do you think that this negative advertising has any effect of low voter turnout?
Definitely. Even in my classes of American government, students would say, I'm not going to vote if they throw dirt at each other's way. And this is the young group that might become leaders of the future, and they are to think about other people out there. So I think that that's a bad lesson, and our politicians ought to be very careful of this.
On this year's ballot, there were 2 resolutions. How do you feel the public understood what was being asked?
I happen to have what on here about one seems to be easy understood by common voter. Number 2 seems to be a little bit more difficult. And I think that the first one, it is somewhat strange the way it is written. For example, normally a judge has the prerogative to issue a bill or not. In other words, here, if we do this, it raises the problem of having the evidence presented first in a big way. Normally that would come in the trial. And secondly is the word presumption great that the accused committed, and the word presumption great, it is weak. And so I think that's something that is significant. And how do we know the penalty is life in prison? In other words, all of these are to be decided in the trial itself, so it seems to be somewhat very strange. And the second one, I think it is difficult for common voters to see here. Normally, a person accused of a crime requests a bench trial, meaning depending on the case. But here, I think that it is why that everyone should have jury trial, even though if the accused requests the other way. So I don't know how people react to that, but I think that the number 1 can raise a lot of issues.
All right. Out of the 2 resolutions, the first one, you gave us your thoughts. What do you feel the effective vote will be around about these 2 resolutions?
I think that the number 1 will be voted on very easily, because the idea of locking up some dangerous enemy, it is always appealing to the people. If you see a person so dangerous, lock that person up. But there are a lot of issues in here that ought to be resolved, because I could see that a lot of things that need to be defined during court trial happens to be defined before that in order to have a way or not to have a way.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tu, for joining us tonight. I'm Danielle, and we're speaking to Dr. Christie.
Danielle, and thank you to Dr. Tu. It was very nice having you in the studio with all of your input. We have an exclusive interview with Representative candidate Vixel. Mark Despotax is live at the Clarion County Courthouse with this report.
With Vernon Etzel. All right. How are you doing this evening?
Real good.
All right. How was your day? What did you do today on election day?
I went to work. Spent 8 hours building walls and getting dusty, dirty, and doing a job. Got washed up, went to the polls, and we decided to show up and watch the election results here.
All right, and if you don't need to run for representative in the General Assembly,
against the incumbent who's registered Republican and Democrat. So I was up against, theoretically, against 2 of the major parties. And I'm really worried about these results. If they hold up, 14% I'm really happy with that. I only spent those in the whole campaign, and we did most of our work as groundwork. We went door to door and passed out flyers that I signed, and my reputation in the community as being an independent voice of the people, never to be controlled by these and behind the scenes type people, and it looks like it's paying off. I'm encouraged by that.
Again?
I'll always be running for things. I think it's, I wish I would. More good people would. And I know they're out there, and I'm looking for them. And if I have to see in Clarion County, say hi to me, maybe you'll be a candidate, too.
All right, thanks a lot. I wish you the best of luck tonight. All right, so let me just give you a brief update of what's going on inside the courthouse here. As you can see, the line is, there's still a long line here waiting to get to the voter registration office. We will, of course, keep you up to date when we get that next update at 3%. I'm now reporting from the courthouse. I'm going to back to you guys.
Thanks, Mark. And you were just listening to the interview conducted from Mark. He was talking to Representative in the General Assembly 3rd District, Vernon L. Etzel. And coming up, we're going to check more of the latest results. And we're going to check in with Danielle, and we're going to have more of your continuing coverage, so you're going to want to stay tuned.
The holiday season is upon us, and holiday weather is soon follow. Now it's best to pick up safety, security, and convenience of a cellular phone. For more details, stop by Cellular One at 537 Main Street in Clarion, or phone 226-6690. Mention this TV spot to receive a free cigarette lighter adapter along with a free cellular phone and activation.
Welcome back. Right now we're going to take a look at the race for the U.S. Senate results as we have right now. And taking a look at the results, 51% of the precincts. Tom is now with 50% of the vote. Ivan Itkin, the Democratic candidate, 32% of the vote. Peg Lutzik is 11% of the vote. And the Clarion is Ken Krawczyk with 1% of the vote. Taking a look at the Senator's race, right now, with Ridge and Schweitzer have 61% of the vote. Arlen Specter and Bill Lloyd, the Democratic candidate, has 35% of the vote. Dean Snyder, 3% of the vote. And Jack Iantuno, the Libertarian candidate, has 10% of the vote. That is according to 50% of the precincts. And going on, we're going to take a look at the 5th precinct according to what the candidates are going by right now. And according to 5% of the precincts, Jimmy Peterson, the candidate, has 90% of the vote. William M. Belatuskis has 10% of the vote. Looking at the 63rd District Assembly right now, we're going to take a look at that result. And according to that, Manhattan has 3,188 votes right now, and Iowa has 118. So we're going to be looking at, right now we're going to take a look at Election Day coverage continues with the Washington live right. Dan.
Thank you, Christy. With a little hold here. But continuing our election day coverage, we have 30% of the votes coming in from the official election ballot Clarion County. That is strictly for the residents in Clarion County. It seems to be definitely a Republican tip this year. For the United States Senator race, Arlen Specter is definitely taking on the lead with 4,180 votes. Coming in second, Democrat Bill Lloyd seems to be in 604 votes. And going into constitutional, Dean Snyder is coming in with 352 votes, followed by Iantuno with 100 votes. And coming in governor and lieutenant race, Tom Ridge is definitely taking a lead that was, as much said, pretty much expected, with 3,479 votes. Democrat which Ken and Metzvinsky with 1,289 votes, and Lutzik are coming in with 1,363 votes. And finally, the last but not least, the Libertarian, which is Krawczyk and Henry E. Howard, they're coming in with 67 votes. As we move to representing the 5th Congressional District, it is between John E. Peterson and William M. Blitz. Peterson has 4,808 votes. Blitz is coming in with 801 votes. That's of right now. The 30% of the vote, and we still have a long way to our Election 98 coverage. And one of the representative in General Assembly for the 63rd District, between Fred McElhatton and Vernon T. That's 5,450 for McElhatton, and that's pulling 747 votes, excuse me, as of right now. That's our continuing election coverage, up to date as we have it now. But again, it's 30% of the votes, and the votes are only coming from Clarion residents. Everything updated as soon as I get information and bringing it back to you guys in the studio. From the Clarion Library, Dan Wells, TV5 News.
Thanks, Dan. As voting continues, the voters had questions they had to deal with on voting ballots today, and we're going to take a look at the questions. Question 1 was considering bail emissions, and from 50% of the precinct, 72% of the votes, they voted yes, and 28% voted no. And looking at question 2, which had to deal with the and criminal cases, 3% of the precincts, 68% voted yes, while 62% voted no. So you can see that more people are voting yes according to this, and they were paying attention to that question. And we're going to look at the 63rd precinct and the results according to that at the time. According to the 63rd district, 0 of the precincts, McElhatton, the Republican Democrat, well, right now, voting yes also has nothing. So we'll check back later in the hour with those results. And just a little thing that's going on right now. According to District 5, 540 precincts, the 49%, John E. Peterson has 8% of the vote. He is the independent, and William E. Belatuskis has 14% of the vote. Senator Alphonse D'Amato has been beaten in his bid for a 4th term by Democratic challenger Charles Schumer. D'Amato said, brings an end to the tenure of one of New York's most resilient, powerful, and controversial politicians. The widow of the popular state senator who was murdered 2 weeks ago has overwhelmingly defeated the man charged with the killing. Early returns show Charles with 97% of the votes, while Republican Byron Luper has 3%. And coming up, we're going to be having our political show, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that.